Okay, so today let's talk about another subject we have today. It's about first dates. Now, some people have seen the videos and they ask me some questions like, hey, why don't you talk about this, talk about that? So we're talking about first dates. So now I say about first dates, there might be some women like, well, on the first date, I want to go here. And I got to, oh, hold on, time to Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so people may be saying like the first dates, what is considered a high expectation? Like, it might be some women say, I want to go Roof Chris on my first date. I don't know if y'all know about Roof Chris or anything like that, the expensive restaurant. Like a place like $200 for a plate. So they want to know like what is considered a bad expectation on a first date. Did everybody freeze?
Clear.
Okay, there you go. So, like, what expectation would you consider a high expectation in the first date? Because then you got to come back with follow up for your second and third date. So, we want to hear from both sides on what you think. What's your expectations on a first date?
Let's go with Gabi first.
There we go. All right, I'm with Samantha on this one. All right, Gabi, let's hear it.
Okay, first date expectation for me has to be table manners. Like, if we're eating and we're at a restaurant where there's cloth napkins, that cloth napkin better be in your lap. You're done eating, your knife and fork better be together with the knife facing in when you're done. And please do not touch your food unless it's food that should be touched. You know, like, yes, you can touch your fries and chips and stuff like that. But if it's meant to be eaten with a knife and fork, please don't touch it in front of me. This is just the first date expectation. Is the whole table manners thing. Girl. And cell phone should be
having
on vibrate
under the table. Oh my goodness. That was a good one. I was saying I'm having flashbacks of getting like pinched under the table because that was like the stuff I would get in trouble for growing up. My parents didn't play, you know.
So I grew up in Jamaica. And Jamaica was a British colony, so a lot of the background is British English, and so table manners is huge, and like where the knife and fork go, and you know the 6 utensils and all of that. So that is huge for me, I think, because I was brought up like that. So I'm like watching the other person, like, are you using the right fork and stuff? We can move on, and I can loosen from that afterwards, but the first time I want to know that you like at least know the right thing.
So for our viewers, you start on the outside and you work your way in, right?
Yes.
In terms of utensils. Okay.
So no ribs the first date then. No ribs. No barbecue ribs.
I don't know. Well, I'll have the salad.
Oh man. That's a good first expectation.
Yeah. Manners. Okay, who's next?
Me?
Expectations. then I can come in on the rebound with you two after I get this set up real nice.
So I think my expectation on a first date might be a little bit more simpler than Gabi's, and this kind of just dates back to what I've been. I mean, yours does too, from what was instilled to you as a child. I like my door opened. Like, that's me. Just open my door, pull out my chair. Rule of thumb: if in high school, if a young man picked me up for a date, my dad would be peeking out the front window. And if he didn't open the door for me, I wasn't allowed to go on a second date. It was just one of those things that's not only does he respect you, but what kind of house was he brought up in? And I feel like I still can read a person pretty well based on those things. Chivalry shouldn't be dead, but at the same time, with expectations like that, I feel like I'm good with gender roles and stay true to things that I'm not above doing as a counterpart. But that would be the biggest first date expectation. I don't care if you eat with your hands, but open up my door and pull out my chair, please. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Question you asked was geared, I feel like, towards the gentleman is, do we have to foot the bill and take him to Ruth's Chris or have a $200 plate? All right. So Gabi and Samantha, thank you for the tips, right? Those are fantastic, manners and old school chivalry. But one thing I always recommend, and this is just me personally, is we see this way too often with gentlemen today. Just the day and age we're in. We're in a day and age of stunning, right? Of just showing off more than we have. So gentlemen, if you can't afford Mastro's and Ruth's Chris every single time, don't necessarily take her there on the first date, because you're setting her up for an expectation that may not be actually who you are or what you can afford. I can't speak for Gabi and Samantha, but as long as you're wholehearted, you can have the best fucking time ever at Applebee's, okay? 2 for $20, it doesn't matter. So stay within your budget so you're not trying to set yourself up from the beginning to potentially be somebody money-wise that you aren't, right? Now, we also know gentlemen that fly on private planes every day and they can afford Ruth's Chris every day. But there's just different levels in life, so stay within your level. I think that just sets a realistic expectation from day one. With the lady that or whoever you're taking out on the date. And I have a second part to this, okay? This is specifically for Gabi.
Oh,
no. If you're on a date and you guys are having pizza and the individual eats pizza with a fork and knife, where does that date go at that point in time?
So actually, I'm going to say my Jamaican grandpa did that.
Okay, so that is approved in Jamaica.
So I would not, it would be okay with me. And I've actually, funnily, I've done it a few times up here. And I'm like, oh, did anybody just see me do that? And then, I'll put my fork and knife down and then I'll, finish eating the pizza with my hands. But I have eaten pizza up here a couple times with a fork.
Nice.
Good. Well, my question has been answered. Thank you, Gabi. I appreciate it.
So now, all right. So, let's say that the person take the person to Ruth Chris or whatever restaurant they want to, right? For like the dates and stuff. So now you have your birthday or something like that, like an anniversary or something like that. Where the expectation go then? If you are taking to the highest expectation, say you can afford it, but taking the highest expectation as it is, where does it go on those special occasions? Okay, Samantha.
I got one. Go ahead. Not that every date that I have ever been on has been at a fancy restaurant. I have been on some very nice dates, though, I have to say. But I think that if you're setting somebody up to expect those types of dates, that it's going to be a lot more special to have maybe a home-cooked meal that you did yourself, or like a bottle of wine or something that was maybe pulled from one of those really cool dates, right? And now it's like, okay, I know this person really loves this specific food because every time I take them out, this is what they tend to migrate to. So maybe I'm going to attempt to recreate something in a private setting and maybe take them out of that, norm, and then maybe just pull little things from either, a favorite type of drink that they like or something that reminds you of a really special date. That would be setting the bar a little bit higher for like a birthday or an anniversary or something like that. That would be my opinion if you already set that expectation. Now, obviously, if that's not the norm, then maybe like splurging for a very special restaurant or outing, would be the way to go. But that's that's what I would prefer, honestly.
You're best getting quiet.
I got a bunch, Ernest. I just want to be respectful if Gabi had something to add as well.
Yeah, sure. I would say not necessarily, like, I don't need it to like level up or get more fancy, but I will say, and this can kind of go off of what Sammy said, I do like flowers. I mean, even if it was like a single rose or a dozen roses or whatever flowers, I do always like flowers. And it can be flowers from Publix. It doesn't need to be anything special ordered from Pro Flowers. I will say the only thing that's important to me is if that person is listening to the things that I like if my favorite thing to eat is a piece of fish, like don't take me to a steakhouse, or vice versa. So if they're in tune as like what I like I don't really care how expensive or inexpensive the meal may be, but in tune with what are my favorite things would be important to me.
Okay.
It sounds like I'm hearing from Gabi and Samantha, for the gentleman out there, is you need to understand and learn to know the person that you're in a relationship with, right? They just openly expressed two different things that would make them feel special on their birthday for an anniversary. So just a one-word answer of, hey, it's the anniversary, take them to the best restaurant in your city. That may be great for the person that you're in a relationship with, but not for Gabi or Samantha, right? So I think what it comes down to is asking those questions, taking the time to get to know that person, because if you're celebrating an anniversary, you've obviously been in a relationship for an extended period of time. So learn the little things that they love. Try to pay attention to their small nuances, their little interests that they just expressed, right? Even one rose, it doesn't have to be from Pro Flowers, things of that nature. And do those little things, because in my opinion, the best thing you could do for anybody in any relationship, even a friendship, a business relationship, or a love relationship, is make somebody feel special. And how do you do that? By paying attention to the little things that they care about, remembering those, and then showing your display of affection, whatever way that is, to that person. So my key here, guys, for anniversary, birthday, is pay attention to what makes your lady happy, the little things, and then express those with some form of action. So that's my best advice there. And Gabi and Samantha, thank you for telling all of us a little bit about each one of you. That's really cool.
Now, 2 last questions. What was your worst date? You can recall. What happened?
Oh God.
I need a second.
I feel like you're being like a very traumatic memory right now, Gabi. You might have to go first on this.
Oh, yeah. I can only think of like one thing, but it's not like that bad. But it's the only thing that keeps coming to my mind. Okay, you guys are about to learn another thing about me. I strongly dislike onions in general. And I oh my gosh, this was a long time ago. I ordered some kind of pasta dish at the Laughing Cat in Ybor. It was like some really well-known Italian place. And I ordered my food with no onions, and it came with these little tiny chopped up diced onions. So I felt like there was like 300 onions in my plate, and I didn't know what to do. But it was like the worst date on me, because I was like, how do I eat this and not eat the onions? And so I think I came up with some other excuse that there was like something wrong with it, so I could get another one, or made up something that was wrong with it. But I think that's like the most uncomfortable situation I've been in at a restaurant with someone on a date. But I don't have a bad example that something like happened to me or like spilt on me or anything like that. I don't know.
You're better than me, because I would have straight been like, there's onions all in this. Like, we can't. I wouldn't be able to mask it. I would just be staring at it like, this isn't happening. Oh gosh. Let's see. I, however, I have spilt on myself many times while eating out, actually. Like, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but That's actually something that happens to me often. I'm not the prettiest eater and I tend to drop. So I have embarrassed myself many times while being out. Just in general, doesn't matter who I'm eating with. It happens. God, I don't want to give this away. Or like, I would never say a name, but I think the worst date experience I've ever had, obviously you're getting to know somebody, right? So if you're trying to put your best foot forward, this particular person just did a little too much to try to impress. And I could feel myself just blank staring, if that makes sense. Just like, when's it going to stop? You know? So I've just been in a situation where I'm like screaming, when is this going to end? Because if there's anything that I really can't handle is like somebody that's shoving all of their accomplishments or everything that they feel is impressive about themselves down your throat, because then you're not really getting to learn those things organically. So that's probably been the thing. I haven't had like an awful date that just like ended crazy. It was more like, thank you. In your head, you're like, this is never going to happen again. So, What about hopefully you, Josh?
Exciting to say.
Josh doesn't have very many dating stories, unfortunately. But I can think of one. A few years back, I went to the gym with a lady. No surprise, right? I mean, that's kind of my life. And I've never been so uncomfortable in my life. And without giving too much away, one thing I'll never forget is she just would not stop taking pictures of myself or filming or taking pictures of us together, like in the gym with all these people. It just made me so uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, like, please put the phone down and just stop taking pictures. The first time I met you, I don't want to take 20 selfies. I felt like I was like a pawn in some sort of scheme, So I'll never forget that. It was actually back when I lived in Washington, D.C. So this was quite some time ago. But I just remember it made me super uncomfortable. And I'm serious. I never spoke to that person ever again. Like, I just really didn't like it. Like, why are you constantly filming me here? Why are you taking all these pictures? It just gave me this like secondary like reasoning for me being there with her. So that's something I will never forget. I don't know if that's a date, but it sure made me uncomfortable. I mean, I felt super awkward. I couldn't wait to get out of that gym.
Now,
so we don't know what
question.
Probably revolving the internet somewhere.
About 5 or 6 years on a Reddit thread. God knows what they're at, but out of sight, out of mind. I don't know where they are, which is good.
So the last question. What was your best date you ever been on, and why was it so special?
Oh,
who's going first?
It's just the girls. You keep going. You guys are doing great.
Gabi, go for it.
Oh, yikes. Best date. Oh no, I feel. I think my best date might have been at like the gun range. I don't know if I have like a really romantic story to tell you guys.
No, we lost her.
No.
Did we lose her?
Yeah, we lost her. She'll be back.
Ball's in your court now. Let's hear your best date.
Come on. Oh, God. The best date that I've been on?
So many good ones, Ernest. Look, she has to thank she's had so many good ones.
She's trying to hold it up, smile, laughing.
One time in Europe, I was in Greece, and this one time I got a private jet ride. What do you got, Samantha? We can't wait to hear this story.
Right, Lamborghini.
I know, right?
I've never been picked up in a Lamborghini on a date. Okay. I have, however.
This is a live stream to the internet. Someone's going to pick you up in a Lamborghini soon.
Right. Okay, so the best date I have been on is honestly, it's just been simple dinner conversation with wine with somebody I really enjoyed, and because of the company, not because of what happened. I haven't been taken on any crazy elaborate dates, to be completely honest. There hasn't been anything that has stricken so amazing to be different. But if I can hold a conversation with somebody and be in the moment to where everything just kind of disappears, and at the end of the night you're sad that it's over, I've definitely had those moments. So I'll say that, and that's the connection with the person as opposed to like doing something crazy. So that's it for me. Nothing exciting. I've done some pretty cool stuff in my day, but the best date for me has been dinner conversation with the right person. So I'll say that.
Somebody will see this video and say, all right, pick up a Lamborghini or Bugatti.
I'm thinking the Lamborghini's coming, Ernest. Yeah, that one was teed up. Good job, Samantha. Well played.
Thank you.
Hi, Gabi.
Gabby, let's
Gabby back. There we
now
go. All right.
I already got put on the spot for this. Well, I mean, if someone wants to pick me up in a private jet or a Lamborghini, I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to say I did it. But
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, I got disconnected. It's raining here. Might be the weather.
Your best date, Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, best date. Okay, I was hoping you guys moved on from that question one.
No, I was living in it this entire time.
Well,
and I'm excited.
I can't the end of what you said. So I will add, like, I don't need elaborate, but meaningful. I mean, how, like, something that's meaningful is going to be memorable. So it's, if you had a good experience and it made you feel good, like, you're always going to have a good feeling when you think of that. And I think that's important.
I think that's true too.
Oh.
Am I up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, so I think it's different for the guy, right? Because, and I'm not saying all the time, but the majority of the time we're responsible for planning the elaborate date, right? So, you always want to make that person feel special. But there's one that hits me when you say that. And it was just due to basically what Gabi and Samantha said. It was about maybe timing in life and who you get to spend your time with. This was easily 10 years ago, but I was probably had like $20 in my bank account at this point in time. I just moved completely away from my family. I had no help. I had to get like a roommate on Craigslist to even help me afford rent. And it was the anniversary of the lady I was dating with, and I didn't have any money, but I lived in Vero Beach, Florida. So I was able to get like a blanket and some Publix subs. I'm not kidding, 2 for $20, right? And have a little picnic for sunset. And, the lady that I was dating at the time knew I was piss broke. I didn't have any money. I was very young. And I just remember like how thankful and grateful she was, being on the beach, seeing the sunset. It didn't matter that I had any money. It's just that I made the effort. And I'll just never forget that level of gratitude because like Samantha and Gabi says, as you age in life, you have better experiences as you accumulate your wealth, right? But that's the one that I'll just never forget because I was so scared to tell her that I was broke and didn't have any money because, when you're 22, you think money is everything. 2 Publix subs, a Walmart blanket, and watching the sunset in Vero Beach, Florida is one I'll never forget. So that will be mine, as silly as that sounds, but that's one that resonated in my head. So that was a good time.
Nice.
It at all.
Well,
and it was small, meaningful, meant something. You have good feelings associated with it. And I think that that's important. And like you said, age too, right? I think like as we all get older, you don't need more and more and more to impress you. You just need those small, memorable moments that make you feel good.
Thank you for saying that, Gabi. That was awesome.
Nice. Thanks for everybody's answers. We see your next show next time around. And